Good morning and welcome to Wednesday, friends. I'm Kelsey Marier, your host and producer for Morning Pulse, which you're watching right now live on our KETTC live stream, or maybe you're watching on our KETTC YouTube channel. We appreciate you being here. Morning Pulse is a short format newscast that brings you top local headlines that is happening in the southeast Minnesota, northeast Iowa region, or news that's impacting the entire state of Minnesota or the entire state of Iowa. We try to keep this hyper local here, and we try to keep it nice and quick, under 10 minutes, so that you can find out what news is happening around you and then move on with the rest of your day. But we want to keep you informed, and that is our job here at KETTC, and we want to keep you informed wherever you're tuning in. That might be on TV, but that might also be tuning in on your phone or your tablet or maybe your computer. So thank you for being here. Hopefully this news is helpful for you, and we're going to get started. Our top story today is continuing coverage in the Minnesota lawmaker shootings, something that is happening today that we want to let our viewers to know about. So we're talking about a candlelight vigil that is happening today. It's, of course, just the grieving process continuing for the deaths of Minnesota State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark. Minnesotans, including fellow lawmakers and Governor Tim Walz, will all be coming together today to honor and remember this couple at this candlelight vigil. Again, this is happening tonight at the state capitol on the steps there in St. Paul. The vigil starts at 8 o'clock, running through about 9:30 this evening. We do plan to provide you continued coverage of this vigil on our evening newscast tonight. So you can find that coverage, of course, on our KETTC evening newscasts on your TV, or we will also work to get that information and that video up for you online at kettc.com. Kind of continuing with this story, we just want to bring you up to speed on where things are at in the case. We know the suspected shooter of the Hortmans, as well as Senator John Hoffman and his wife. The suspected shooter there is 57-year-old Vance Belter. As we know, he was captured alive near his home in Green Isle after a nearly 48-hour manhunt. This morning we're showing you a brand new mugshot that we have of him, which you see here on your screen. He is facing multiple state and federal charges and is expected to be back in court on June 27th. So we, of course, will bring you updates from that once that happens next week. And right now, he does remain behind bars in the Hennepin County Jail on that $5 million bond. That's what his bail is set at right now. So again, this is just a continuing coverage story of our top story that we have been following for the last several days. Just an update here on the suspect, Vance Belter, and the candlelight vigil that is happening tonight for the Hortmans. All right, we're going to tell you about our next story this morning, which is in the Rochester area. We're talking about the police department investigating 5 suspected overdose deaths. All of these took place over the last week. The most recent one actually took place yesterday morning around 1:15 a.m. You're seeing video here of that scene. Officers did respond to an apartment on 3rd Avenue Northeast for a disturbance, which is what you're seeing here. They found 2 women and 1 man dead at the scene there. Then going back to Friday morning, police ended up finding a man who was not breathing on 8th Street Northwest. They did perform some life-saving measures, but those were unsuccessful, unfortunately. And then earlier Friday morning, around 4:45 a.m., another man was found dead outside of an apartment on 31st Street Northeast. So that's 5 deaths total. And RPD does believe that narcotics containing fentanyl may have been a contributing factor in all of these deaths. So the investigation for this is ongoing. But yeah, that is kind of a lot over the course of a week. So definitely an investigation Rochester Police is conducting, and something that we will continue to follow. All right, our next story this morning we are telling you about is out of Goodhue County. A fisherman, thankfully back with his family after going missing at Frontenac State Park. So according to the Sheriff's Office in Goodhue County, authorities did respond just before 1 o'clock Tuesday morning. After a caller said that he was unable to contact or find that fisherman. So at that point, authorities ended up deploying a thermal drone, a K-9 team, of course watercraft, for this entire search effort. They were able to continue the search of the river, They ended up stopping every half mile, of course, searching for this fisherman. Eventually, they found the fisherman on shore with some minor injuries, and we're also told that State Patrol air support had responded to this situation, but that was called off, of course, after the fisherman was found. So kind of a good news update there in the search for a missing fisherman in Goodhue County. He is now back with his family. All right, our final story this morning, we are talking about the journey to find our next Miss Minnesota. It begins today. As you see on your screen, our current Miss Minnesota, her name is Emily Schumacher of Mankato. She is now getting ready to pass on her crown. So 23 young women from all across the state are going to be competing for educational scholarships, of course, the prestigious title of Miss Minnesota 2025, and the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to compete at the Miss America pageant. Super cool. So our newest Miss Minnesota is going to be named this week, as well as our newest Miss Minnesota teen. Well, those both will be selected this week. So what we know about today is the preliminary competition is getting underway. That's today and tomorrow. The main event, kind of the crowning ceremony, is getting underway on Friday. So it's a multi-day event competition, all happening at Treasure Island Resort and Casino in Welch, right here in our southeast Minnesota area. Of course, good luck to everyone who is competing, and we can't wait to see who will be representing the great state of Minnesota as our next Miss Minnesota, again, for the year 2025. That's always an exciting event, and of course, again, good luck to everyone who is competing. All right, it is Wednesday, halfway through the week, and it looks like our weather forecast today is going to be nice and toasty. Again, always the possibility for a couple scattered showers today. Meteorologist Ted Schmidt was telling us about that today, but it looks like it's not going to be anything widespread, nothing like a soaker of a day, a washout by any means. So if you want to learn more about our full forecast, just go to kettc.com and check out Ted's full forecast. He has a full video there posted for you so that you know what's going on today and for the days to come. Other than that, I have no more news or weather or sports stories to tell you about today, but thank you for joining me for Morning Pulse, as you do every weekday morning. Again, you can find this right on our live stream, as well as our KTTC YouTube channel, which is streaming live as well. All right, have a good rest of your Wednesday. Be kind to one another, and I'll see you here tomorrow.